And they would say that, if they're standing there and trying to beg, it's their own fault. They just say, go and get a job. The problem is young people, 1 in 3 will have a job and the 2 others will not because there are no jobs to get. They have absolutely no skills whatsoever. Even to dig a hole, they have to learn it because they have no skills. Nobody ever taught them anything. So where do you go to get a job and to earn some money for yourself and your family if you have no skills?
You were slapping?
Pludselig så er vi i gang med optagelsen. Så det bliver ikke sagt velkommen.
Yeah.
I found that out last time.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right. Then we will break the rule and say welcome, Filip, Caleb, and Maria in our podcast.
Thank you.
We are super excited to have you back from Africa, right in the middle of our studio. It is such a honor to have you back. How is it going?
Fine.
Thank you. And that was it.
Thank you for coming.
No, it's been going well. We've been there for 5 months now, and we felt we needed to come back home. We needed to go around to travel around Denmark to different churches and let them know about the mission. It's very important for us to have even more people with us because we found out, even though we were told that being on mission is a spiritual warfare, it's a battle, and we will experience resistance. We were aware of it, but at the same time, I don't think you can ever really prepare for how you are actually getting attacked. So God is always good. He's always strongest, and we will always overcome. But we also found out that we need even more people praying for us, have a bit of a bigger background and people praying for us and everything like that. So we are home now for a month, and also to get equipment back home back to South Africa. I don't know actually which is it home now in South Africa or is it home in Denmark?
Well, I think both. It feels like home. So it also feels like home when we're in South Africa. So
Yeah. Because
we like it there.
Yes, and we found out that it is extremely expensive to ship things. So we figured out, okay, it's actually almost the same price to actually get a return ticket and go home to Denmark and get everything we need still in South Africa and then bring it back to South Africa. The church needs it desperately. You cannot get those things there, and if you can, it is extremely expensive. And when we have everything here that we need there, then it made kind of sense to do that. So that's more of the reasons why we're actually home.
Mm-hmm. How long have you been there? How long was it?
Was it 5 months?
About 5 months, yeah.
5 months. So how does it feel to be... Caleb, did you find any friends in there yet?
Yeah. Actually, the last week we were there, there was a brother and a sister on the little hotel we were on. And I got pretty close friends with them. And they were actually pretty sweet and they were very good at pool. But, yeah. Yeah. But that was pretty fun, yeah.
Yeah, I remember you were talking that you will start surfing once you are moving there. So, did you start surfing yet?
No, because it's been very big waves, and it's been not the best weather to surf in.
All right. How about sharks? Do they have sharks there?
I did actually go fishing with my family down there, and I caught a lemon shark.
A lemon shark?
Yeah. So
is that a shark that?
A baby one.
Yeah, about like 1 meter. shark.
No, 1 meter.
Okay.
And it feeds on lemon or?
Yes, because there are so many lemons in the sea.
Right?
But they were standing on the beach and were just using the fishing pole, and you caught it right from the beach. Actually, that means you don't have to walk out very far to encounter sharks. So yay!
And that means where people are swimming, there are sharks. So they are there in the ocean. It's their environment. So, yeah.
Right. Do you hear?
Fun.
Do you hear that people are getting hurt, like in the area
No.
you are at?
No, actually not. I mean, normally with the sharks.
You didn't hear, but I did.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear any. I mean, they're there. I mean, we were just standing there, and there are lots of sharks in the water. But there's also dolphins, and then there's also whales. So, yeah, I think if you don't bother them, they don't usually just attack. So that's what they say anyway.
2 weeks before we came, there was a shark attack, but he didn't die from it, at least. But he got bitten in the back.
The shark?
Yes, why not? No, this poor guy, actually, and with all the beaches, they actually have shark bite kits standing there, and it says shark bite kit.
And what does it consist of?
I haven't opened it yet, but I would assume some kind of
New
medical
hands,
stuff.
new legs.
Band-Aids.
And new legs, yes. I need to open and check them. Yeah.
It's like a big freezer, you know.
No, well, yeah, maybe. I haven't seen it. But they are hosting a competition, the World Tour in surf every year there. And while that competition were held, we saw some footage of a drone just hovering, and you saw a big white shark just cruising. Got over to all the surfers, and when the surfers saw it, jumped on their boards. They were just lying in the water otherwise, and they was just nice and quietly paddling away, and nothing happened. Mm-hmm. I know I wouldn't have been that calm, that's for sure, but they did.
I saw some videos about the sharks and stuff, and I saw that they tend not to attack humans actually, but if you splash on the water, that's when it triggers something on them. And it's like, it's so funny to watch, because there's like this swimmer, and she's just swimming with the sharks, and then she does that on purpose because she knows, right? So she just starts splashing on the water, and all of them just instantly just go to attack, but then she stops right away, and then they go back. So it's,
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't play around with that, but like, the evidence is there.
I'm not gonna try.
Yeah.
So did you actually go into the water yet?
Not me.
Okay.
I mean, I did actually a lot with the family, and also one time with my friend, and we did go boogie boarding. So it's it's not surfing, but you lay on your stomach on the board, and then you just wait for the waves, and you don't stand on the board. You just keep on laying on the board.
How's the temperature on the water?
It's still a bit cold. So, but I think in the summer, it's gonna get way better.
Wait, so
It's the opposite. Yeah, it's winter now. It's going into summer.
so we've been there in the winter now.
Yes.
Wow.
Exactly. But I think the water there in the winter is more or less the same as the water here in Denmark in the summer. Never warm enough. So, but and usually the temperature, just the air temperature is nice. It's mild. It's nice weather and everything. But this winter, it's been the worst winter they've ever had. And we've been there for 5 months. So it's been very windy. It's very wet. It's very cold, and the houses are not insulated or anything like that. So it's extremely cold inside.
What's the area called that you're at?
If it's cold there,
No, I mean, like, what is it called? What's the name?
Jeffreys Bay.
Jeffreys Bay.
Yeah. So it's a nice place, definitely a nice place. People go there to retire. Actually, a bit like Miami in Florida. It doesn't look like that at all, but I mean that's where people go to retire in the States. But the last couple of years, more and more families are coming there as well. What is pretty amazing though is even though you have nice houses, you have surfing competition and all these tourist not attractions, but you go there, have a nice quiet time. You have so many poor people there as well, like extremely poor. They eat once or twice a week because they don't have enough food. You have homeless people lying all over the place. There are no shelters there for whatever reason. We would like to build some shelters so they could at least stay inside during the night, but there are no shelters at all. So they are sleeping outside, right on the road, next to the stores, at the bus stops, at the beach. That's where they sleep because they don't have. I mean, they're homeless, and no one are able to take them in anywhere. So it's extremely poor. And when you go to the supermarket, which they also have, you will be encountered every single time by 1, 2, 3 beggars asking if we can buy them some bread. They're not even asking for money usually. They're actually asking for food. And we are trying to, but I mean, there are just too many for us to help them all. So it is extremely poor. It's the poorest region in South Africa. And it's very, at least for me or for us as coming from Denmark, to see how rich everything is right over here, and then you have one road just here, and on the opposite side you have the poorest of the poor people looking to the rich, and the rich are not even looking at the poor anymore. It's like it's just a blind side to them. They're just too used to it.
So I was going to ask, is there a general concern on this, like at least on the area, about to do something about the people that are suffering in homelessness, or do you think they just grew go to it, or just became it just became something so normal for them that they don't even notice anymore? Like how is it?
I believe that there has been a lot of cynicism. They have grown cynical to it. A lot of the white middle class and upper class people, they don't really want to do too much about it because they have grown used to it. Of course, it's very, very difficult to say that every people are like this, but we definitely know people who are, and they would say that if they're standing there and trying to beg, it's their own fault. They just say, go and get a job. The problem is young people, 1 in 3 will have a job, and the 2 others will not, because there are no jobs to get. So it's very difficult for them to get anything and to do anything about it. And they don't have any skills. They have absolutely no skills whatsoever. Even to dig a hole, they have to learn it because they have no skills. Nobody ever taught them anything. So where do you go to get a job and to earn some money for yourself and your family if you have no skills? And that's why you see people standing on many of the corners, and they're just waiting to. We're calling them day laborers. That's the last stop before homelessness, before extreme poverty, before crime sets in. That's where they stand in the hopes that someone will stop for the day and say, "Hey, I need 3 guys. Come sit back in my car." It's a pickup truck, so they will never get inside the car. They will always be outside the car, up on the, whatever you call that, in the back of the car. And they will sit there, and then they will go for one day and do whatever work is done, and then be back to having no job the next day. That's how they're actually trying to survive.
Crazy.
It is.
It is. And the reality is also that people, there's so many poor people all over, so many homeless people everywhere. So it maybe sound like, this is a beautiful, like it sounds like it's a beautiful town, but there's a lot of bad things, a lot of hurt. And you will see in every street that people, they go through your garbage just to find something to eat. And I've seen many of them that have lived there for like many years. They will scare them off or get angry. But I mean, that's difficult. When you come from Denmark and you see this poor person who's going through your garbage
Trying to
just
survive.
to get something to eat. I can never, ever say to that person, you're not allowed to. I mean, we heard from one of our friends the other day that he threw out some sausages that was really, really bad. They were the wrong color, they had bad smell, and he threw them out in his garbage, and this man found it in his garbage and he ate it immediately because he was so hungry. And it's just, that hurts. I mean, if that doesn't impact you, then your heart is like stone. I mean, that must soften you. That must make you like realize, wow. Okay. So that's the reality every day. I've seen so many, and now we've been with so many young people, because our main goal is just to help the young people to get a job. That's really our main goal. We really want to see them succeed. We want to help them with the foundation of having the Lord Christ in their life and by their side, but also just some tools to help them, like practical tools. How do I write an application? How do I do a CV? How do I get ready for an interview? I mean, many of them are so shy because they've never spoken up. They've never stand in front of people and had to,
Sell themselves.
Yeah, exactly. They've never tried that before. And that's what we do. We rehearse with them. So we are helping this organization that's called Pulse. And that's a name for, it says it's people, upliftment, and life skills education. So it just means really to lift people up and help them with life and education. So if they're not done with school, maybe we there's a lot of organizations down there for like NPOs. So of course
Non-profits.
Organization that are helping people. And Pulse is working together with all these different kind of organizations, and also with churches, local churches. So they are doing something for the community to help, but there's so much more that needs to be done. So right now, this Pulse is a course. It's a 6-week course, and it's for young people between 18 and 30 years old. And just to help them, and we were lucky that we got to teach them and help them. I was one of them who was doing one-to-one conversations with them, just getting to know them, getting to know their background, getting to know, do they have any kind of experience, and with that I can help them also talking to other companies and talking to organizations and. So that was just really, really amazing. And seeing them the first week where they are completely shy, they don't look in your eye, they're really not saying anything, and to follow them the whole way, because they're there every day from 8 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon, and just to see the transformation and.
Do you think like how much of that? Okay, maybe this is not like something that you guys personally would agree, but how much of that do you think is mindset and getting out of the situation? Of course, you guys are giving them the tools and that's giving them confidence, but there is also something more that's added. But that's a very different. That's a very different. Just to say, hey, if they can do it. Like they're there because they're not doing enough, and maybe there is a part of saying like, they don't have the mindset to succeed, But
would you say that are they? Is it what you mean is when they say are they actually willing to do something about it, or are they just totally giving up on their life? Is that what you're?
A little bit of that, but it's more like when you're working with them, you see that shift in mindset. Is that actually one of the things that enables them to succeed afterwards, and to take on this confidence, that they are actually, that there is space for them to do something?
I believe so, because I agree with you. I think when they arrive and when they're there, they have a poverty mindset, like a poor mindset, and they believe that they're never going to get out of it, because their family and their friends, they actually tell them you're not going to succeed. Because look, you're going to stay here forever. You're going to stay here in this little, you can't even call it a house. It's just something they built to live in. So yeah, it's a lot about changing their mindset and also to, let them be more confident in themselves, believing, and deal with their feelings, because a lot of them are not dealing with their feelings. They're not communicating. They maybe have anger issues because they're just angry with everybody because it's everybody else's fault. It's not me. That could be one of the reasons. Or it could be that my mom doesn't like me, or the father's not there. Many of them don't have a complete family. I mean, they maybe have a mother.
Who will beat them up.
Yeah, some of these students, I mean, we're talking about young guys, 23 years old, and their moms are beating them because they got tired of them. I mean, get a life or something. But how can you when you don't get support, you don't know how to, and yeah.
How impactful do you think it is for them to have someone coming from Europe sit in front of them and say, I believe in you?
I mean, what they said at the end, it meant so much for them. I mean, they've never experienced that people 10,000 kilometers away. I mean, we are north now, and South Africa is just 10,000 kilometers south from here. And that made a huge impact on them. I mean, why would you even bother coming here and talking to us and teaching us these things? And so it was really mind-blowing for them that somebody cared for them. I mean, so far away. I mean, not even their families care about them. They're left alone many times. And so that meant a lot. And that just brings joy. That brings joy to you. I mean, because, yeah, it's a completely different environment. And you have to face this every day, the hurt, the poverty, every homeless people you meet. I mean, it's hard for me sometimes, as a mother, and also as just having a heart for these people, and you cannot help everybody. I mean, I when I go shopping and just to buy groceries, I get asked all the time, please buy me something, please buy me. And if I did that every single day and maybe twice a day, I mean, I wouldn't have any money left to buy for us. So it hurts because you wanna help everybody, but you can't. But you can do something for someone, for sure. That's what Pulse is doing as well.
It was actually quite mind-blowing for me to discover that just being there was extremely encouraging for people, and not just the Black community, even the white community. We are also part of a local white church. Unfortunately, we have to call it white church because not that they don't want Black people or colored people or anyone else than just the whites, but it's still, after all these years, after apartheid, it's still like you have Black churches, you have colored churches, you have white churches, and then a few churches is a bit mixed, but not mixed completely. It's way more to one of the sides, and then just a minority of another color, another culture. But even in this church, we've seen how much encouragement we are just being there. and we didn't know that. But that means that people, you guys, and other people listening to this, or just people in general, need to know that we can do so much here from Denmark. One thing is, of course, support financially, because everything is just expensive. Money is needed, definitely, in all kinds of missions. But to go and be something for someone and just be there is actually something worth much, much more than money, and can turn their lives around. One of the things we started now is a choir, which I've made a bit of fun of, because I'm like a heavy metal dude. I'm not dressed like that anymore and all those things, but a choir wasn't really what I thought I was going to do or be having anything to do with. But because we were there, this young guy comes up to me after church. He's black, and he had an opportunity to actually tell the pastor these things, but he never did, for whatever reason. But we are there now, and he comes to me and said, "You know what? I have this vision, and I want to share it with you." And that was the choir thing. And then I said, okay, let's work on it. Let's see how it is. Let's pray about it also. And I just felt, wow, this is God, definitely. So we started working together. I started teaching him, training him to actually become responsible, be more of a leader, and all these things. And a couple of months, 3 months after that, we started the choir with him leading the choir and me just encouraging him. Why is that? Because we came. Just because we came, it gave him what he needed to actually say, hey, I have a dream. I have a vision, and I want to visualize it. I want to see it come into life. And now it's possible because of some crazy Scandinavians stopping everything they're doing in Denmark and traveling to South Africa. That's all it took for him. And I didn't know we were going to be a blessing and an encouragement just by being there. But that is also a call for anyone hearing this, that we can do so much more than we actually think just by being there. We don't have to have certain types of skills. Just being there, that is enough for so many, in so many ways and times.
Caleb, how did it influence you, seeing the people living so differently compared to Denmark?
It kind of shocked me, because it's a way different way of living for them. And in Denmark, we of course have a lot of shelters. So if you become homeless, you can at least get money by the government, and you can at least have a place to live for free. And these people down here, all they have is maybe a blanket, maybe not even, just living out on the streets and sleeping there. I could not imagine sleeping on grass or dirt or asphalt, whatever. That would be horrible. And these guys are living with it every single day.
Right. When you see that, is that kind of encouraging you to actually to help them once you will grow up, or maybe even now? Is that stirring something maybe inside of you, or?
Yeah, I love what we're doing at Pulse already, and I wish that we can get more organizations like Pulse around Africa and around all the poor places in the world. And I really wish for these people to learn about God more, and so they can get hope in life, because there is much more to life than living on the streets and living a horrible life.
Yeah. Do you already do something practically, or what is your part? Do you have something that you do with the people there?
No, I've only been there. Oh yeah, actually, I've been there 2 times and done interviews with my dad. We made 2 videos about them. saying stuff about how we've helped them and everything.
You have also bought food
Oh,
for
yeah.
homeless people many times on your own. You used your own money just to buy food for someone that you met.
That's amazing. I have also seen some Facebook posts you playing. Are you also part of worship in there, or?
No, that's just after church.
Okay.
Also going with the bass? No, the battery, the drums.
Yeah.
Did you also talk from the whole equipment all the way to South Africa? Or?
No, we only got half of it. So now we can finally get...
Only the bass drum.
But now we can finally get the other half, so I can finally start playing on a real drum set again after only playing on an electric. And at least I was playing drums on an electric, so at least I got to play the drums, but definitely much better with a real drum set.
You also helped when we were at the youth event, like a worship night. We had a huge worship night for the young people at the township, and you were helping there, right?
Yeah, I did do videos of the whole crowd, a lot of young people, and I did do videos about the people that were singing. So yeah.
Are these people in your age, or are they older, or?
Some of them were my age and some were younger and older. But a lot of them were living very poorly. So yeah.
All right, so you are now here for a month, right? You are going around Denmark, trying to talk about what you do down there and get support and prayers, right? So
That's true.
what's the next season looking like? You know, when you're coming back down?
Before we go
okay,
there,
sorry.
I have a question, because we started this where you mentioned that you had some challenges, some spiritual challenges and things like that there was a bit tough, and you, even though people have said that, you know, being Mission is very challenging in different ways. You said you still, you know, maybe I understood that you got surprised by actually how tough some things can be. Is it possible for you to share some of these things?
Yeah, it's sometimes it's very difficult to really explain on a level that people will actually get it, because I think you have to be in it to really feel the weight of it. But definitely there was some financial issues where all of a sudden we just didn't have any money, like just from one day to the next, no money, and we thought, even though we believe God will be the provider, we didn't mind having some money. I mean, it helps, and that was very difficult, a very difficult situation. It's like our opponent, like the devil, he knows where, he knows which buttons to press all the times. And some people, they are fine with having absolutely no money. Some people are fine with the bad weather. Not that bad weather is like, it doesn't have to be spiritual or anything like that. But other people are very, very impacted or influenced by bad weather. They become negative and everything. So the devil will be using that, if he can, just to discourage people. And in our situation, definitely some of it was financial. And the other thing was a lack of breakthrough. We felt like there wasn't a breakthrough at all. At one time, we didn't have a car. You have to have a car when you're in South Africa, because it's just, well, where we live, it's okay to walk outside. You won't get molested, attacked, or stuff like that, unless it's during nighttime. Then you shouldn't. But still, we were trying to find a car because we know we need to be moving about just a bit more than a couple of kilometers away from our house. Even the place where Pulse is, we live too far away to be able to walk there. And so we didn't have a car, and we were able to borrow a car in the beginning, which was very, very nice. But they had to sell it, and it went really quickly away, and then we were without a car again. So now that we have this car back home, which a great friend provided for us here in Denmark, that's the number 9th car we've been driving since we went to South Africa 5 months ago. So we've been having so many cars, and a couple of times without a car. We've always seen God help and provide, but there was just these moments where we're like, God, what is this? Like, we don't see the breakthrough. We thought that yada, 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 and nothing happened. And I mean, in Denmark, we're used to that. And then, okay, then we just go about our normal life. We go to work, we go to school, we go to church. And then, okay, it's just what it is. And we become numb, and we maybe don't even realize it. But when you are on the mission field, where everything depends on God showing up, where everything, every single day, you have to rely on God is showing up, and you feel He is not showing up, then you become frustrated, and the devil just takes advantage of it. Again, as I started to say, it's difficult to really explain. I think you have to be in it, but it became really, really, really tough. And then it's what we do is we usually go out, and that is also why a car is a good thing for us, because we always find peace in the car, because it's just us sitting there, no phones, no anything to disturb us, anything, and we go to the sea or whatever. We always did that in Denmark, and there we just stay, talk, and pray, and then we started doing that even more. And I'm just seeing how God is turning things around and reminding us that don't look at the problems, look just to me. No matter what happens, just look to me. Keep reminding us of all these things that we all know so well, but when you're right in the middle of it, it's a bit tougher than how it sounds when you're just saying it. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that was some of the things.
I think when you are completely relying on God and you're stepping out in faith, I mean, you don't know faith before you are really in it. You can say, I have faith, I believe, but you've never ever tried real faith if you're not in it. I mean, completely relying on God. And what we have seen is just that God has turned things around. I mean, right now we for the past month, a couple from the church that we're part of just said, well, we have a car that we're not using. It's an old like City Golf, like model from the 80s. No, I mean, it's so hard to steer. It's like really...
No power steering.
But, it's so well kept. And it feels like, wow, we are like back in the 90s. We're like back in our youth driving this old car. But it's just a blessing because, wow, we have a car and it's for free. I mean, they said to us, you can have it as, we're not using it. You can have it for as long as you need it. Just pay for the petrol, the gas, yeah. So God has been so good. And I think also with us coming back to Denmark for a visit, I think maybe some people have been wondering, why do they come now? I mean, we've only been away for 5 months, but we really just felt God telling us to go. And our whole journey going to South Africa is it was because of God leading us and God telling us to go. And we also felt like He told us now we should go back, just for a visit, but just to start telling the stories that we have experienced, just for the past 5 months. And what we also experienced at the moment we came here is like God, sometimes he waits for us just to take a step and then something happens. Then he really provides. And we saw that as well. We went back and when we arrived, we had planned.
Let's just you will get it in just a second again, but we just need to start a bit sooner, just 2 days earlier than that, because that was also kind of a miracle. We weren't able to find a plane ticket. We didn't have money for a plane ticket either, and we knew we needed to get home because we could feel God telling us, you need to go home for a while. And then all of a sudden, 2 days before that, before we actually got on the plane, the money comes. We're receiving a phone call saying, I will cover it for you, and thank you very much. And then I need to phone a travel agency because I'm not able to find anything at all in the price range. It is extremely expensive all of a sudden. So I'm calling this guy, and he says, when you want to go? I said, well, tomorrow. And he says that's pretty soon. Yes, but that would be nice if we could, because this bed and breakfast hotel thing that we had been staying on for a week was even that was giving to us for free, because the house we were in, the owner came back, and so we couldn't live in that house for just a couple of weeks. So another guy said, well, you can stay here. And that was a nice, small room for the three of us, but it was really nice. Caleb got a couple of friends, and there was pool table stuff, and there was even a swimming pool there. Bit cold, but not for him because he's a Viking. And it was just a nice thing to experience where God again did something. And now we are there, and he says, this guy says, well, it's completely booked from tomorrow. And so I said to this travel agent, we need to go tomorrow. And he came back and said, okay, well, you can actually go tomorrow for this price. And I said, oh, what a coincidence. This is what we have. And I said to Maria, we are on our way to Denmark tomorrow. And then, oh, okay, where do we need to sleep when we come back to Denmark? It's going to be at Maria's sister. Let's ask her. And she was like, yes, you can stay here. Okay, can we stay there for like 5 or 6 weeks? And yes, I suppose. So she was open to it also, but we didn't really have a plan for all the practical stuff. We just knew we needed to get home. And the car, well, this friend, he helped us with the car. We didn't have money either. We just said, find the cheapest car you can find till when we come home. And he said, okay, how much money do you have? We don't really have any money right now, but we'll find them. Just find out how much it will be. And he asked a couple of times and said, no, we haven't found it yet. He said, okay, let me just pay for the car. And then when you go back, I will sell it again. And if I sell it with a loss, then you can cover the loss. If not, then we are even. So he's been doing everything with the car, and now we're driving an Audi A4. We haven't paid anything for it, and he's been doing all this for us. It's from 2006, so 17 years old, but it's a nice car.
It's a huge upgrade from what we were driving in
Absolutely.
South Africa.
So it's
just a blessing.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how God is really just helping and providing. And in the same regard, we need to understand also the way he does it is he's using people who is willing. And I think more people of all of us, we need to understand that we need to be willing. God is actually calling us to do things that will help other people so much and will be such a big blessing, because it will come with a sacrifice at first, but it will be such a huge blessing afterwards. So it was just to say that all of a sudden we got that plane ticket. We didn't know where to sleep really, and the car just came like that. And then back to you, because then we left.
And when we just arrived in Denmark, I think it was within an hour. We've just landed, and we got a call, and someone told us, well, you can I will pay for a summer house for you so you can just stay for free at a summer house. It's like, wow. I mean, we weren't expecting this at all. We were just ready to just sleep at families and friends, whoever we could crash.
And overstay our welcome, all the places.
But I mean, that's just how God has been working these past months, that whenever we take a step of faith, he provides and miracles happens. I mean, normally I think we wouldn't see these things. We wouldn't experience them unless we are actually in the middle of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And another one also was, one of the frustrations was this, what are we doing with the car, as I just said before, and you also said. And then we had been together with some friends at a leadership meeting, and we shared it a bit. We need this, and we prayed, and then we get back out in the car, and then a message comes on the phone saying, we feel from God that we are supposed to give you 20,000 kroner towards a car, just like that. And that is a huge amount for anyone, especially people that we know of this couple. They are an amazing couple, but it's not like they have all the money in the world. They are just generous people. They are willing when God is saying something, and they were obedient in what he told them. I mean, 20,000 kroner is a lot of money. And when we got that message, it was like, wow, God is showing us a breakthrough now. All of a sudden, it comes when you least expect it. It's just, and there it is. And even though the 20,000 will not cover a car completely, it showed us that he will take care of us. And it also made us feel more, I would say, maybe committed because of this couple. They actually made us want to finish this, to still move on, because they believed in us. They showed it, and they sowed into the ministry. And because of that, we were able to say, okay, let's get back on the horse again, because we were beaten up a bit, and just keep on, move forward, because some people back in Denmark is actually believing in us. So that is another thing why we need to be obedient to God, because it matters so much more than we actually think. That's one of the things I've learned by being, stepping out in faith all the time.
Do you think the fact that you guys are family doing this together, do you think this is harder, or is it in other ways, or maybe in generally makes it easier because you can count on each other?
I would definitely say it's as absolute strength to be doing it together, to have the calling together. I remember the last time we had this like 5 or 6 months ago. I also spoke a bit about the marriage, and how I believe that the man and the woman, husband and wife, they need to be on the same page with things. And I even believe that in the calling, maybe it doesn't look exactly similar for the man as for the woman, or vice versa. But I do believe they have a calling together somehow, because you are one, and you will become so much stronger when you realize this. Because if I was out all the time and I'm the big preacher man from Denmark and I will see miracles and blah, blah, blah. And then Caleb is back home missing his dad, not having a dad to look up to learn from, and all that. And Maria is missing her husband, and also not understanding really what is happening. And she's back home and she's maybe earning some money. She's part of the worship in a local church or whatever. This separation will start tearing on you. And I even remember I read that when I was 16, and it just settled with me. Billy Graham's wife said Billy was away 9 months a year. I would never advise anyone of doing that. And she said that because it's just too much. And this was Mr. Billy Graham, like the biggest of our time. So I definitely think it's a great strength to be able to do that together. And that is also why I always encourage people, especially young people, when you want to find your girlfriend or your boyfriend, make sure you have the right foundation, the same foundation that is in God, in Jesus, Spirit-filled, all these things. Don't think that it is like, I'm Christian, she's not Christian, I will make her Christian. Chances are, which I also said last time, chances are, if she's not Christian, you will end up at best being a lukewarm Christian. That is the statistics. So it's very, very important to find someone with the common shared faith and being able to have that foundation, being able to pray together, pray for each other, understand the ministry, understand why the church needs you. And with Caleb, I'm also always explaining to him how important it is, and to see how he is also serving in the way that he is doing is an absolute joy. So I think it's very, very important to do that together, and it is a strength as a family. I know it was a very long answer to your short question, but
No, it's good. It's good.
I'm a
Thank you
preacher.
for being so thorough.
So back to my question. What is now in front of you? What is the next season holding for you guys? What are you praying for? What are you hoping for? What is it looking like when you go back?
Oh, I will also make sure that Maria says a few words. But the thing with me is I'm always dreaming. I'm a dreamer. I'm also a visionary and entrepreneur and all those things. So the mind never stops. It's always something new. And Maria is very good at just grabbing hold of me and say, hey, remember, we are also actually living on earth. So we can actually do some things, not just dream about them. But going back, what we want to do is with Pulse, we want to see if we can get even more courses running during the year. Right now it's only 3 because of the resources are that, but we want to see, can we get 4 or 5 or 6? We want to be able to be better at following up. We're trying our best, but again, the resources are limited. So we need more people to be able to follow up on the students once they have completed the course. So we will not lose them, because what we are doing is the first hour every single day is actually Bible study, where they get to learn about Jesus. And the thing is, they live, yes, in poverty and all those things, but they also live with worshiping their, what do you call that?
Ancestors.
Yeah, worshiping their ancestors, and all these the occult is also there. So that is what they believe. So they have to understand that Jesus is the only way, and God is the only God. So we teach them that, and during this course they actually get not only an understanding of Jesus, but they actually surrender their lives to Him. And it's amazing to see what happens with them, how much they grow because of that. So naturally, we want to make sure that they will keep their faith, and we want to see if we can find a church for them and make sure that they will grow in their relationship with Jesus. All these things, that's definitely one of the things that we need to work on. And then we have I have a lot of dreams, and I will see if I can get Maria.
Our mission is called Equipped for Life, and our dream is really just to equip people for life, and that's why first and foremost we love the Pulse organization, because it combines these two. So you have the foundation with Christ, but you also get the tools and the practical things to actually get a job, to actually be successful, to actually go out and meet other organizations, to know how to grow your own vegetables and so that's what we love. But we have a lot of projects. Ever since we arrived, it's just like the doors have just been opening up for a lot of different projects, and we need to find out which one are we gonna enter, because there's so much need. And one thing for sure, we know that when we go back, we're gonna plan for the next course of Pulse, and it's gonna start at the beginning of next year. We're also going to work more with the choir. Our dream with the choir is for them just to go out and perform. And it's a huge thing in South Africa to have these choir competitions. Yeah, that's another thing. We still have a project with maybe some Bible school, but it's on the board. We have a lot of things on the board also. But yeah.
One of the biggest things biggest in like it's on a grander scale is we actually want to see if we can get all this Bible teaching from the Bible school down on a solar powered audio player, which means you can actually just have it out in the sun. And in Africa, usually there's a lot of sun. And they can have it out there, and then after a couple of hours, they can start listening to Bible teaching. They can hear the Bible, and they can hear Bible teaching, actually. So they can get a full Bible school in just this small audio player. And then we have a network, or we work together with a network called SBCI, that are part of more than half of the African countries. Where they have a lot of evangelists, they have some pastors there, and the network is huge. Meaning, if we can produce these audio players, then we can ship them all over Africa to the most remote areas and communities, and they will start hearing the Word of God. Not just Bible reading, but Bible studying. And instead of having a Bible teacher, you can have a facilitator that will go around to the different villages, and he can hand out these audio players, and he can come back again a week later, do the tour once again, and ask them, how did it go? Do you have any questions? And he can train them and be a facilitator instead of just a teacher, because when you're just a teacher, you have to be present all the time at one place. As a facilitator, you get to move about much more. You're much more free and can reach much more people in that way. So that is one of the things we really would like to get started on at some point. But because of the nature of these audio players and the whole process of recording everything, it will take some time and it will cost a lot of money. So it's still just on the dream board, I would say, but we still feel like it's something God wants us to do. So we believe that He will open up the door for that as well. And then we have a lot of other things still.
Yeah, we are part of a local church as well, because we think it's important that we also get filled up. I mean, you give a lot during the week, but it's also important that you can just listen to the word and be filled up every week and get filled by the Holy Spirit or the worship or whatever you need. And through the local church, we also work with the young adults. So that's young people, again, between 18 and 30. And we gather them because sometimes they are lost. I mean, we have kids ministry, we have the teen ministry, and in some churches, very often, when you are an adult, like 18 and above, then you're kind of forgotten. Then you just sit at church in some churches, and that is the case in this church. There wasn't resources just to do something for these young adults, and that means they get bored and they move, or so we just felt it was very important just to gather these young adults and again equip them and encourage them to go into ministry and to take part of church. So when you feel like this is my church and you take that on you feel like in a way, how can you say it, that you belong, that it's so that's also one of the first things we did when we arrived is just to gather the young adults and just encourage them. Yeah,
and step out. Actually,
Yes.
start working with them, helping them to understand that they are in this town for a reason. It's not. It is a surfers town, and surfers are very laid back people, and it's like the whole culture is like very laid back. They don't think they need to do anything, to take responsibility for anything, and we come from not only Denmark, which is a quite effective country. We come from Copenhagen, Denmark, which is like a very like a speedy. Everything just happens quicker in Copenhagen, and we couldn't stand watching young people waste their youth away when God has put some great material in them and a calling and everything. So we are very busy training them to step out and go into ministry and take up the responsibility of actually doing something for this town, because someday we might not be there anymore. We are back in Denmark, and then who will do anything or something? Well, they have to do something. So that is definitely also something that we are working on. So we're working on many things all over the place. I don't even know how we find the time, but it's like, time, we have enough of time. We don't have enough of money, but we have enough of time.
What does it do to you guys when you think about that you're going to be back there soon, and you might be back there for maybe 5 months more, or maybe a year more, or maybe 2 years more? How do you feel inside about the prospects of that?
I think Caleb would maybe also could be able to answer your thoughts about that, right?
Yeah, I think it's a bit hard and also a bit fun, because it's a very different experience being in a different country and a different culture. They are totally different cultured people than we are. And I do think that I wish we are there for only a year, because I, of course, miss my friends a lot, but also I see what we're doing. And in that state, I wish that we're there for a longer time so we can help more and more people. So it's kind of about, I like to help the people, but I also love Denmark and love all of the people I have here, friends and family. But I would definitely like to stay there for maybe a year or year and a half in total, so we can still help a lot of people and not feel like we've been there too long, at least for me, because I miss my friends and family a lot down there. So yeah.
Yeah, it is a sacrifice. It's fun, it's nice, the weather is sometimes good. They say it's good during the summer, even during winter. We hope they're right. They have surfing competitions, all those things that if you just look at that alone, it's wow, nice. But if you turn and look at all the problems, then it's overwhelming. And it's difficult because of the cynicism, and people are laid back and don't think it's really up to them to make a difference. Then nothing happens. So we can see it's overwhelming. There's so much to be done. So it is like a balance, as Caleb also said. Like we love it there because we can help. We can definitely help. There's so many needs. And at the same time, we miss what Denmark has to offer. Caleb says with his friends and family, and that is true. On a more practical thing, which is so stupid, but I mean, the Danish lunch is just something special, and they are not big on lunch at all. They don't have anything you can put on the bread, or like we do in Denmark, and we grew up with that. And I even started asking South Africans, "What do you eat for lunch?" because it seems like it's just white bread and then peanut butter every single day. I mean, I like peanut butter, but maybe not that much. So, I mean, that's just a silly picture on some of the things. And of course, there are many more things also. But as Caleb said, it is a sacrifice. It definitely is also. But I think that's how the Bible also says. We will experience great things, but we will also experience the things where we can feel like, okay, you have oppression here, you have setbacks, you have sacrifices that you need to make. Jesus himself made the ultimate sacrifice. So we do know that, and we are aware of it, and we are really trying to see how can we do this the best possible way for everyone. That's, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's just about taking maybe 1 year at a time. And I talked to some other missionaries, and I think once you've had visited the place, once you've seen it with your own eyes, it has an impact on you. It's not something that you forget. And it's not like you can go back to Denmark then just forget everything about it. I think it's still, it lies in you that you still want to help. And I talked to some missionaries today at the church that we visited who used to live actually in South Africa, and they came home because they were retired, but they never stopped working with the contacts that they have in South Africa. They're still helping, but just from here now. And I think I think that it could be a combination along in the future also. I think it's not, how would you say, it's not just one way or another way. I think you can also combine it. But I think it's as long as God is saying we are staying there, we're staying there. For Caleb, he needs to go back at least in 2 years' time to finish his grade 9 or 9th grade. Yeah. So at that point, we need to make some different plans. Maybe go back and forth or something. But I mean, we don't know yet. God knows. But yeah.
Can you think of? You mentioned that there is a big lack of work opportunities, right? It's also because people don't really know how to work. They are not really taught all kinds of skills, right? But there's also lacking opportunity. So do you have actually any ideas like what could be like let's call it startup that could be maybe done? That, I don't know, maybe some kind of service in there that could help people here, and then, so the money could flow their direction. Like, have you ever thought about something like that?
Actually, yes, quite a lot, because it's just like the mind never stands still. And now we are there on what they call a volunteer visa, because they will not give work visas for foreigners because of the big unemployment percentage. So it's next to impossible for a foreigner to even get a work visa. And if we want a self-employed visa, we will have to have like millions on the bank account in order to get that. So it's in that way it's difficult, but we can still be the starters of the startup, helping other people and be like consultants and help them in that way. We can plant the ideas and we can do all the groundwork, all those things. So what we are thinking about is actually with the Pulse, they are learning how to sew. You call it sew, right? With a machine and clothing and stuff like that. And we are thinking... Yes, exactly, right there. So we are thinking about maybe we should start up a clothing factory for T-shirts or even school uniforms, because they are using school uniforms there. And Pulse, some of the people at Pulse from the other organizations that also help with Pulse, they know these schools. So it could be possible that we could get some pretty big clients and customers right away the minute we know how to sew. So of course we will need the what do you call that guy? That guy who really knows how to sew.
The tailor.
Yes, the tailor, exactly. That guy. To explain how do you do these things. And definitely I wouldn't be the one doing the sewing because that would be a terrible mess. But I'm not supposed to. I would be the one managing, helping, starting up, giving ideas to people, collecting everyone and say, let's do this. So that is one of the things. And if we did that, then we could definitely ship stuff home to Denmark also and say, if you buy this, you will help these people. And it will also generate enough money to be able to build shelters and even bigger plans for Poles and shelters coming together and in a bigger work scale, educate people even more. And all these things. And when people come to Poles, we will be able to offer them job opportunities all of a sudden. So all these things are, yeah, exactly, right? So we just need some more skilled people to do that. And I can see since it's there, I think there are some talent here. It's you, right?
That's me. Yeah.
You need to come and visit.
Yeah.
Exactly. You were speaking. I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, you must come then. Definitely. We will provide accommodation for you. They have tin houses and everything. So don't worry. There will be.
I believe we will talk about this behind the cameras because there are some things that we were talking just within our company, like what are we dreaming about.
Nice.
We'll definitely talk about this and let's see what can come out of it. But sounds really good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I'm excited now. Can we turn off the cameras now then? Yeah. Awesome.
When we talked for a little bit the last week about the fact, and you also mentioned it today, we called it black churches or white churches. How does that work? Because it really sounds, sounds very apartheid-ish, when you say those terms, especially me hearing, from Europe, it sounds very aggressive, to label a church a certain ethnicity, to be honest. How does that actually is in practicality?
It's been so difficult because we are from Denmark. I even said it to the young adults. I said, we have this opportunity now to go and serve the black community with this big event, the youth worship events, where we got people together to hear about Jesus, to worship and all those things. And it was only for black. Of course, white would be welcome, but since it is targeted within the black community, white people will not show up. Only us and our the ones that would help and volunteer with it. And we said, this is an opportunity now to go and serve the black community. And I said, wouldn't it be amazing, and this is my Danish mind, wouldn't it be amazing for us as white people actually starting to serve the black community? Let's go. Exactly. And Danish people would go, oh, that's amazing. What an opportunity. And it was like I said the worst, most horrible thing because everyone just kept, and it became this awkward silence. Like I really stepped on someone's toes by saying that because they are not ready to do that. They do not believe necessarily that all that we believe about. Of course, they say apartheid was definitely wrong, but there still was some good things to it. And I understand what they mean by it because yes, some things were good about it, but almost everything else was bad. So we need to understand that, and we need to understand that the black people felt oppressed. But what the white people has experienced during the last 20 years and even 30 years now is more and more racism, but reversed racism. That when you are white, you're not allowed to work within the municipality, for instance. You're not allowed to do certain things, and when usually you see white people, they will be self-employed because it's so difficult for white people to get a job because they will choose the black people first. That is also racist because it's based on color. And it's even, they say, at least within the government and municipalities and all these things, they have to have at least 20 black people and colored people for every one white person. So it's like, that is mind-blowing for me as well, because that is not good. That is reverse racism. And they say, we need to balance out and all those things. But we know this will end bad if they do that, because they do it because of color and skin color. And then you also have, what is that? When they are training doctors, for instance, black people don't have to have as high grades as white people to get into the same education, because they want to give black people a chance. And we know and we understand that. But what does that mean when you have an educated doctor that is white and an educated doctor that is black? Who wants to choose the black doctor when you know that maybe he wasn't really good enough to meet the criteria, but because of his skin tone, he got on the education anyway? I would not risk my life with him. That's what happens. So people will naturally choose the white instead, and that will create another form of division. So they are trying to do some things and balance everything, but in my best opinion, that is not the best way to do it. They want to do something about it, that is good. But the way they are doing it is something that makes all the resourceful people, the strong people, they're moving out. They're moving to New Zealand, Australia, and England, Canada, because it's easier for them. That is a problem in a country that needs resourceful people. So yes, there is so much racism still. And that is also why you still have black churches and white churches, because it's difficult to be together, because it is two very different cultures. So we want to try and get more people together. And we also know of other white people, that's very important to say, other white people that wants to do that. But I especially remember that one time at the young adults when I said that, this awkward silence. I was like, what? Okay, this is what we have to work with then.
What do you think needs to happen for that change to come? Or how could it happen?
I think you can only change it by working with young people and change their mindset. Because I think some of the old people, I mean, they have history. It's not easy. And I think it's difficult for me as well, because if in Denmark, I would never talk about colored or colors, but it's still an issue. They're way back. They're way behind. It's still a huge issue. And even with the colored and the black, they have issues with each other. I mean, so it's very difficult to be part of, or you, how can I say it? But I think it changes. It has to change. If we can change the mindset of young people, and what I've experienced just by being together with young people at Pulse who are colored or different colors, black, colored, whatever you say. It's still difficult for me to put labels on them. But that's what they say. That's what they say themselves. That's what they call them themselves. And I mean, they have an open mindset more. They don't. I mean, see colors the way that maybe some of their older generations do. They're very used to just mingle with everybody. But it's new. And I hope that we will get there, because, it's much, how can I say?
Yeah, I think it definitely will take an effort, and you have to be very aware of it. It's not just something that will happen over time. I think you need to work toward the goal. Train people, like when we are with the black young people, they all of a sudden they see white people actually wanting to help them. They see white people loving them, and it blows their mind because they are not used to it. Some of them has been told all sorts of lies, just like the white has been told, and all of a sudden they see this, and it creates like they say, what, we didn't expect this. And I think the more we will see of that they see we are acceptant of them and we love them and we want to help them, we don't have a hidden agenda or anything like that, then they understand that. And even some of the students expressed that they said, I had no idea that we could do these things together. So that will definitely help for the future. And for the white people that has issues with the black and colored, they will see, that is my belief at least, they will see that some of us that are working with the black community, those black people has changed their minds because they have actually seen white people caring for them. So when the white people see that, oh, something is actually changing, something is happening over here, then I believe that will also make them think again and start realizing, okay, maybe we can actually work together, maybe we can actually do something together. Maybe it doesn't have to be, because everywhere you look, they have so many pickup trucks, bakkies, that's what they call them. You see a white person driving it, and you see 5, 7, 10 people, 10 black people back in the back of the pickup truck. That's always the case. You never, ever, ever see white people back there, unless if it's the owners or the driver's kids. Then it's fun for them. So they are in the back maybe, but then usually you don't have any other people than them. But other than that, that is how it is, and that is a problem. So we have to try and change it. So we are using it with the young people.
So does it mean that the white people are mostly the ones that actually are rich, or like at least middle class, and then only black people, or mostly only black people, are in the poverty?
You definitely see more black people, poor black people than white. More and more white people are now, because it's so difficult for them to get a job because they have the wrong skin color. But definitely you see more black people. Of course, you also have like 85% of South Africa that are black. So you will always see more black people. But yeah, definitely black people are still the poorest and white people are still the richest.
And what's the percentage of people actually that are that middle class to higher class? And then compared to... Is there a percentage? Like, do you know that percentage?
I don't remember the exact percentage, but I mean, you have the ultra rich, and then a very big gap down to the middle and upper middle class. But I actually don't really know how many it is in percentage wise. I might have read it, but I've forgotten about it. But you can tell in that area. You have, I think it's about 13,000 people who are middle class and upper middle class and rich. And then the rest of them, about 40,000 in total, they are extremely poor. So that is in that area. But if that is reflected on the entire nation, I'm not sure of that. That is difficult to say because cities are very different.
So you described before a little bit of like a resistance to work together, like coming from like the white church youth. Do you also experience that from the other way around? That there's a resistance from black church people to work with white people?
Actually, yes, a bit. This is gonna sound probably not good. But anyway, I'm trying my luck here. We wanted to help one of the Pulse students, but we don't want to give money. That is an absolute no-go. You don't give anything. You can give some bread sometimes, but you definitely not give any money. Because then they will keep asking you, and they will go right out and they will buy drugs and everything with it. So that will hurt what you're trying to do. So we wanted to let her embrace the idea of working and then get a salary. So we got her to our home because she wanted to clean. And we said, okay, then come clean our house for us. And then we paid her a day's salary for 3 hours, because we wanted to bless her as much as we could. But in the beginning, she was so quiet and reluctant, and she actually seemed very, very nervous, because all of a sudden she is in the white community, in a white house, and
There's no such thing as a White House.
it's actually a brown wooden house, but I mean, it was white people there. We are whites, and of course, it's not that black and white all the time. But in trying to explain this, she was so reluctant and didn't really know what to be doing. Yeah, she could clean, and she did it a great job and everything. But in the beginning, she was nervous, definitely nervous. And I think that is because she would never say so, because then she fears that she will not get a job. But I think it's because she actually was a bit afraid of, this is an area she's never been in. And all of a sudden she's alone with white people. And we know some of the older generation has been telling younger generations about, stay clear of white people because they will only hurt you. That's been the message back in the day. And I think she was old enough to have experienced that. But then over the weeks, she opened up completely and was such an amazing lady, learning so many things. And she has definitely a bright future ahead of her also. But yeah, I think there is a tension from both sides still. Not from all, but at least from some people.
How about the food?
Food is important, yes.
How about the food?
Nice. it's very good. I mean, as my dad said, the things they put on bread, there's not a big variety of that, but their version of barbecue, which is called braai, is very good. So their meat and everything is really good. So yeah.
So you're not going to starve when you get down there?
Oh, thank you. That was my concern.
You're gonna have a hard time to find like really like rugbrød, like dark bread. It's not possible. That's difficult. You can get like rye. That would be the closest thing. So yeah, that's what I miss the most, I think.
So are you now gonna freeze some breads and carry it with you?
Yes.
Yeah, we're trying to, yeah.
Makes sense. All right. Is that all that we had on our heart?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Should I end it, or do you want to end it, or is Rafa going to end it?
I'd like to end it in a prayer for them.
All right, let's go.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah. Thank you, God, so much for the life of Filip, Maria, and Jacob. Caleb, sorry. You put this task in front of them. I just pray that you bless them this time that they are here in Denmark, but also equip them with anything in everything that is necessary for them to keep doing your job and your work there in South Africa. I also want to pray for South Africa, Father. You have seen everything that has been going on there. And that your peace and your provision will come greatly in that nation. That your will be done there as it is in heaven. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, everybody, for watching. It was nice to have you here. Thank you, Filip, Caleb, and Maria, for receiving our invitation and coming.
Thanks
and
for having us.
Sharing your exciting life and journey of faith that you are on right now. I think this journey is going to make you much bigger people. And I think there's going to be great testimonies coming out from this journey for sure. We're again going to put your PayPal and all the things under the video that you are watching right now, so you can just go down there, and if you want to support them in their mission, please send it their way. Also, just check out all the social media that we'll post there if you want to follow us or them on their journey. They're also posting on Instagram. There is, what is it called? Equip for Life, right? Yes,
Yeah.
we are going to also post it there, so you can check and follow what they're doing in Africa. And with that, I think that's it. So thank you for watching, and we will see you in our next episode. Bye-bye.
See you.
Grow your brand with digital ad campaigns and social media content. We are a creative team that specializes on video communication, brand strategy, and productions. Sign up for a free business checkup meeting and speak to us for valuable advice and for the opportunity to partner with us.